after that, they ran a documentary called The Greatest Mixtape Ever. I think that's what, but something to that effect, if not exactly that. And it was about the AN1 mixtape craze, which was huge in the late 90s, early 2000s. And we're going to have a guest from the AN1 mixtape tour, Tim Headache Gittens, known as Headache, on the tour. And so he's going to join us. He was featured in the documentary, so that'll be a lot of fun. But before we get to Headache, we got to talk about the NBA Finals, which finally, mercifully, will begin tomorrow. We're live from the Fox Sports Radio studios. Our next guest is an AN1 mixtape streetball legend. You saw him last night on the documentary, The Greatest Mixtape Ever. Good friend of mine, brother of mine in the King movement, my man, Tim Headache Gittens. Headache, what's up, brother?
What's happening? How are you?
What's going on, Rob? What's going on, Chris? My brother, how you doing?
Man, we're doing great.
I'm good. Yo, it was great to see you in the documentary last night. Tell me what you thought of the documentary, and also you got a new book that's coming out as well. So tell us about all that.
I guess I'll start with the documentary. I think it scratched the surface, and I think it did a good job of telling the beginning of what the process was of becoming one of the greatest mixtapes to ever be made, and also change the culture where we see it as a day. Remember the annual mixtape that we all got to see and experience changed the way everything was marketed, from sports to urban to everything else, and it brought a little more into society where how our world looked to them, and it did something really dope by changing the landscape in that one. And then my book is about my lifestyle, where I came up from, growing up in New York City.
Where exactly are you from?
I'm a Harlem kid.
All right, nice.
I'm a Harlem kid. You know, Sugar Hill baby.
No doubt. I'm from Jamaica, Queens, so that's why I wanted to know.
I know. We ran into each other before early in my young days.
Okay.
Now I'm old.
hey, we're all old now.
That's how we're soft, Rob. You know
that.
Right.
Yeah, and the book is called, a little play on my name, but the book is called Life is a Beautiful Headache. It's my walking through life journey to hopefully be inspiration to a lot of youth and a lot of kids around the world that went through a lot of different struggles, and I probably went through a lot throughout the world. So I wanted to share that and give them, and also like my walk into with God and how everything in life made even though it's hard scars and stuff like that, life is still beautiful in the way it maturates you into an adult and allow you to be different.
When you think of the N1 and all the players who came through there, who would probably be? Could you give me a list of like the best players who were involved in N1?
Start with myself.
Like,
of course. You already know.
Right.
You already know.
I got
the whole brand. You got to see yourself.
Right.
So I'm one of the forefathers of it, so I got to say myself, and then. But like when you go through the list of guys, the first that started from Half Man Amazing to Main Event to Shane the Drill Machine to Malloy, Naismith Future, Ayo. To me, I think probably one of the quickest change direction moves ever, besides him and Jason Kidd. Playing at Henderson State, you got Hot Sauce. Then you go down the list to like Sick With It, to I'll Be Right Back, High Octane. There's a lot of guys that came through that was really great athletes and good showmanship like that, and represent 50 from Atlanta. So we touched the market when we first got started with 7 guys. God rest his soul. My big brother and center, Troy Escalade, which everybody knows was Mark Jackson's little brother, who was a great person. Then we lost Chicago guy, great Flash, who died of cancer, and then we lost one of my childhood friend, Ali Mo, which is Tyrone Evans, 6'5" point guard that can do everything. So it was a multitude of guys that just came together, put it together. Then we all know Skip, who actually created opportunity for us to be able to do that with them taking the tape from him and taking it to N1.
So Headache, now you played college. I don't know if you remember if it was Division II or Division I mid-major, but you were real. You could clarify that, but you were a real ball player. And so
Yes, sir.
and you I know you grew up playing on the playground, so, between the legs, behind the back, things like that. But how did you and others start incorporating more stuff like the dancing, you know what I mean? And really taking street moves to a whole nother level?
I think I played big time basketball in New York City. I went to Rice. I'm one of the Rice high school guys. Went to Manhattan Center. Probably lost 4 games in 4 years of high school basketball. Actually hurt my knee my senior year while I'm not having a scholarship after being recruited by 400 schools. And then while I'm going, I went to Sound State with Big House Gaines. Earl of Pearl sent me down there with and then I left there because the money wasn't right. For me to be an athlete and pay for school, I always thought about books first. I wasn't going to do that and play, so I wound up, transferring, going to junior college, New York City, FIT. Graduated from there, went to University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and that was basically my stuff going there. But the thing about it, like you said, incorporating was the street ball always been there, been an element of it because of the Dr. J's, the Pee Wee Kirtlands. I got to grow up under Pee Wee Kirtland, Joe Hammond. These are the guys I walk to every day and see, Chris, and you know that. We go to Rucker Park. A lot of stuff that we took, we incorporated it from what we learned at Rucker Park and how they entertained and how they did it. And then a lot of us played like the Harlem Wizards. We got to see them, and I played with the Harlem Globetrotters. So when you take it and you master your craft, you're able to add things to it that nobody else can do. This would make Kyrie so good because I grew up underneath Kyrie's dad, which is with Dedrick, and watched Kyrie grow up playing and stuff like that. So it allows us to kind of incorporate it because anything you do, you take from somebody else. And like in your field and stuff like that, when you see somebody do something great, you don't go, oh, he's great, I should hate on him. You go, oh, that's dope. How can I incorporate it and make it different to fit me? Right. And that's what I think all of us did. And then the best part about it, everybody had their own flavor because they're from different places. Like the first couple guys were all from New York and New Jersey, but we all know who's from New York and from New York and New Jersey is that everybody is different in each borough. Queens is different from Brooklyn, Brooklyn different from Queens, Manhattan different from Bronx, so everybody had their own swag. And if you're a true New Yorker, I can tell if you're from Queens or Brooklyn by the way you talk, about the way you dress. And then so by us being from different states allow us to do that and be different.
Yeah, New York is a place like that. People think, it's all the same, and it's so big. And you know this. You could walk, Chris, in New York for 2 days and not run into anybody that you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're not in your neighborhood, if you're just walking the streets, you could run for days and not run into anybody. That's how many people there are and different stuff. So let me ask you the N1, merchandising that came along with it. The shorts and all the other stuff, but the sneakers never hit. Why didn't the sneakers hit like that? I always thought like they could have had some signature sneakers. You agree with me on that? Because the merchandise was good.
100%. One of the things that I always told them is, I'm going to say it this way, they didn't listen.
Okay.
Like the owners didn't listen. Because a lot of times we kind of took part in a lot of stuff they put out that was hot. And I remember when they first started doing the shoe and they did the Tachi and they did the N1 mixtape shoe, which I hated because they went a cheap route with it.
Right.
I told them when we first got started, I said, hey, look, because my degree is in marketing, minor in accounting. So I told them, I said, hey, why don't you do a mixtape shoe start with the New York guys and Jersey guy and make it that borough shoe, but make it dope, and then it'll sell because everybody buys that stuff already.
Right.
Hey, we're gonna do this one shoe, this shoe like that, and it's do. I said, it's not gonna work like that because everybody have their own fan base.
Because see, I had all the other stuff, the shorts and all that, and I love that stuff.
The shoes were hot for a minute, right? Because y'all got a lot of NBA players to wear them, but they didn't stick.
They didn't stick. Like I remember one thing I can tell you this, and we know about this. I remember when I was always training with big sis Teresa Westbrook and all of them, and I had a lot of the young ladies around me catching on them. I said, look, we gotta continue to push the shoe, but let's push it to the female market. Because unfortunately, I tell people all the time, guys don't buy sneakers. Women buy sneakers. We usually, if you're an athlete, you usually get them free. Or you playing a tournament, you get some, or somebody buying for you, or you tell them you a birthday gift and they get them.
Right. Whatever. Whatever.
That's real. Well, hey, Headache, let me ask you this. We got about a minute and a half for this answer, but I want to hear this. What was the response from NBA guys when you guys were playing? Because y'all were stealing a lot of, thunder from them. I mean, for a good, 8-year stretch or something, y'all were hot. And a lot of, fans were like, yo, these dudes should be in the league. Like they really were lifting y'all's stature. What was the response from NBA players to you guys?
I give you 3 quick ones, Chris, which was hilarious to me. So everybody loved us because, we was in an era of Iverson. Bubble Chuck was one of my good dudes. I got to play against him and all age, all that. But the funny part was when I went to Knicks camp and tried out, I was playing against Trevor Ariza, bro. I played against him at UCLA, and he was like, he guarded me full court when I was in camp, and he was like this, hey, don't do nothing on me crazy. And I looked at him in the face and said, you got a deal, so you might want to back up. He would always pick up 94 feet. You might not want to do that. But they understood that. And then, that to me, that was the compliment of it. Then I went to a game back in the day, because I already sold Cliff Robinson. I went to the Detroit Pistons game to see Sam Cassell and them play, and we went back in the back. And Cliff Robinson saw me, and he was like, yo, I grew up watching playing with Portland and all that stuff. He's like, man, I love you, man. I love what y'all do. Just went crazy. And to me, it was like, and all the players came around and said, what's up? And it was like, it was dope, even though I know I wanted to be there, but just to have them talk about us like that, because they come from this, everybody learned the same way in the parks in that generation era. There wasn't no trainers. You go to the park, lose and win, that's how you became better. But to me, that was the thing. But I think every sport, when it's a professional, they always going to have their nose in the air. But in that era of the 90s to that part, they accept it and they want to see it be successful. But like anything, you have to go and take it. Right, and I don't think no athlete is going to give it to you.
That's our man, Headache Tim Gittens. Great stuff, brother.
Man, thank you.
And one streetball legend.
Absolutely.
Check out his book. It'll be out. When's your book? When you think it'll be out?
Hopefully under June, but in middle of July, hopefully is the exact date.
Life
but
is a beautiful
so
headache.
Yes, congrats
on
brother.
That. We'll get you on again down the road, man. And you coaching in the WNBA now, right?
This year I didn't go back, but I was coaching last year in the Dallas Wings as a player developer.
Okay, cool.
I never missed the WNBA, but that's another story. All right.
All right, Headache.
Oh.
You got to be careful with Rob.
I know.
I should have warned you.
Hey, Rob, that kid that throw the spitball and say you did it.
That's right.
Right, exactly. All right, brother. Peace, man.
All right, thank you.
More Odd Couple coming your way. Shekel City is next. Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
Fox Sports Radio has the best sports talk lineup in the nation. Catch all of our shows at Fox Sports.